Welcome to this edition of the Million Dollar Mastermind podcast. This is where we pick the brains of high achievers from all walks of life and get their hard-earned, real-world insights on winning. I'm your host, Larry Weidel. So, would you say that was the primary stage of failure that you went through, living through that period?
Yeah. So in this period, I didn't mention this. I got divorced. I ended so many partnerships. People turn upside down the minute I didn't have money. I lost a lot of...
They turn on you fast when you don't have the money. It's amazing.
Immediately. It was really interesting to see what the true faces are.
Yeah. Don't think you have any friends in the financial world. Or money changes everything, even in families. If you loan money in a family, just assume you're never going to get it back. That's the smart thing. That's what the Bible says. You give money, don't loan it, give it.
Yep.
Might as well accept it, right? You'll never see that money again. But it's amazing. Yeah, I think we all have gone through it during the tough times of people that if they would just give you the benefit of the doubt, give you a little loan here or something there. No.
No, and I tried everyone, and literally as the ship was sinking. And the craziest part is nobody even believed me that it was that bad, because I was so optimistic at the same time. I was like, whatever, right? Money never identified me, if that makes sense. So even with or without, maybe I became a little asshole when I had a lot of money, but it wasn't necessarily what made my character.
And so how did you evolve from that? You came out of COVID, and now you've got, I'll let you describe it. What'd you do?
So I've been always on this journey through self-transformation, and we all are, right? At some level or another. But I was on the unconscious journey through self-transformation. And really in this moment, I became conscious of that journey. And I became conscious enough to understand, okay, what are those choices? What are these things that I'm doing for my health, for my mental health, for my relationships? And, I've burned so many bridges. I've hurt so many people in this process. And so I basically identified this journey as to, and this is what we do today. We help people, understand where they are, how and what to do to, move past it. And so that way people don't have to go through these extremes that I had to go through and many others go as well.
You do this with programs and workshops and things like that?
Yeah, you got it. So we have a series of digital courses and on-demand library. We've got in-person events. We do about 100, 150 events a year all around the world.
How big are those events? How many people come to those events?
So it's anything from a couple hundred all the way to thousands. So it depends if it's a conference or festival versus if it's like a CEO type events. We work with a lot of CEOs and high achievers.
How long will those events be?
So it's anything from 1 to 3 hours, just immersive experiences, or it's a full day workshop, or we go all the way up to 7-day retreats. So we have kind of all the different formats.
The whole gamut. And then when you say you work with companies, you go in and do things for a company, you offer this where they would sponsor you to come in and try and take their ragged organization and turn them around and make them all excited and gung-ho.
Yeah. So, I've done consulting for a multitude of brands since I kind of left, and whatever it's to turn the company more purposeful and help their company culture and re-inspire, reignite their collective why. And it's a series of holistic teachings, because what I've learned through all of these hardships is that, life is about balance, and life is not about, just doing your career thing or your purpose here. We got to balance it out with family, with friendships. We got to have time for ourselves, and especially entrepreneurs. They don't take time for themselves. Right. And basically in this pathway of our triangle, I've identified that there's about 4 different, stages to this growth. And, the stage 1 is waking up. So you got to awaken and look at your life with a simple, honesty. What is working and what is not? Is it the physical body, mental body? Is it your relationships, your business? Just put it out to the surface so you have some sort of data to start with. The easiest way to look at this is, let's say that you take a blood test and you maybe be low on vitamin D and high on environmental toxins. It gives you that starting point to wake up. Then when you wake up, you clean up. And this has become so important and crucial in my life to let go of the old habits, old people, old things, as well as simple as detox the toxins, right, out of the system.
Right.
Then there's the next point, which is power up. So this is when you bring the power back to you. And this is when you supplement vitamin D. You bring a new tribe, new education, new retreat. You go into empowerment and you go into the offense of whatever the thing that you're dealing with. And then the final stage, and this is the most important one out of all of them, it's to rest up and repeat. And I call this the process of unhooking. So if you don't unhook in your life, then you're living somebody else's life. Constant doing, constant thinking. And what unhooking means for me, once a day, I spend 1 to 2 hours completely without cell phone, telephone, anybody. Usually it's the first hour that I wake up and I do my morning ritual to, look at my day. Who do I want to be? And what's my trajectory?
Yeah.
Once a week, I take full day off, completely digital detox, physical detox. I mean, everything back to me. And usually the first half of the day, it's just by myself. The second half of the day is with family and friends.
Yeah.
Because again, if you don't listen to you, you're the one living this life.
Right.
And once a month, I take 3 to 4 days. And the reason why is it takes about 3 days to fully unhook. So if you ever go to vacation, the first 3 days, I don't know what to do with myself. It's like I'm not on a calls. I have nothing else to do. And then the last 2 days of the vacation, you're like, I don't want to leave. I'm finally resting. And once a year, it's 10 to 15 days completely off. And this is when I reassess the whole year. So when I look at my personal health, my family relationship, and my business, I set the goals in the same way as if I was building a business. Yeah. And that's how I kind of identify this peace, this harmony, this health with everyone and everything.
How many of those 150 events will you be attending?
So this is my schedule. So these are the ones that we travel very intensively.
You'll be on 150.
Yep.
2 hour to 7 day.
So yes, it all depends. And sometimes we do 3 events a day.
Okay.
When we are in like London for a conference, we would do our lecture in the morning, then we do immersive experience at night, and then we would have our own event later that day. So we kind of learn how to be very efficient. If we fly somewhere, we do as much as we can.
Cluster up the events around your travel and make sense. And my take on this, as knowing what you and I both know, is that no one system or routine works for everyone, is the fact that the benefit of hearing this and spending some time on it is that it gives you a structure to think about and to use and to help you organize yourself, because you go through, otherwise you just kind of be getting up in the morning, going around here. But if the idea is to first get up, wake up, get yourself on track, most people who live focused lives have a flow to their day, month, week, year. And the quicker you can settle into that, and I'm one of those who does a daily journal. I've got a very elaborate daily journal, but because it's all written the way I am, I don't like to have to remember stuff. But if it's written down, if you go on the checklist for a 747, the pilots go through it they got check this, but they do it pretty fast because it's all right there. It's like this. Is that light on? Yes. But you don't leave it a chance. You don't not check the box. And so what I find is having a real detailed journal, I can go through all the check the boxes and, it's part of the programming, plus the exercise or stretching routine to kind of wake up. And at different times, I think we're constantly adjusting these schedules, but if you have the framework in your mind, I need to get on track in the morning, and then I need to make sure that I'm not carrying any baggage or the detox phase, and then get your inspiration back in and crank up the car and let's get off on an adventure today, and then get to the place you're going to and actually enjoy being there for a minute. And you have idea of the flow. If you have an idea to the flow, then you can start to run your life and start making order out of chaos, because that's what, even if you have successful chaos, it's not going to be satisfying. And that's what you had going on in your life. Am I on the right track there?
Yeah, this is when you take the charge of your life, right? That you're no longer surprised of your consequences because you've made the right choices. But I think what people don't realize is truly the power that they have with curating it. Because like law of attraction, right? It can be this woo-wee wow thing, but really it's just the combination of your thoughts about yourself, about another, combination of the words that you say and the actions that you put into motion. And then what is the result sum of your life? It's the result of all of these, actions, thoughts, and words that you've accumulated.
For those of you who are sick and tired of fooling around and are dead serious about wanting to move up fast, I've got something especially for you. I've combined the best insights from over 40 years in business and making $70 million in income and compressed them into a free webinar. That's right, it's a free resource. If you want to find out exactly what the concepts are that I use in coaching $1 million earners, register now at weidelonwinning.com. You'll discover the 5-part framework used by so many to reach their financial, personal, and professional goals. You can find that link in this episode's show notes.
Yeah, and it's a big breakthrough in the maturity level of adults when they realize they can say no. Just because someone else has a great idea and is all excited about it and excited about not only them doing it, but you doing it with them, doesn't mean you have to do it with them. You don't have to be excited about it because they're excited about it. And I have a friend who's so convincing. He's such a salesman. I don't know how many years it took me to realize how he could sucker me into all kind of stupid fun things that were fun for him, but I'd be out there, it's like, how did I let him talk me into this? We'd be down in Mexico or someplace or something, and he's just having a ball, and I'm like, I can't wait to get out of here. But he's so convincing. And when they start, it's like, oh, here he comes again. No. And but you can,
I was there.
You can say no. And you reach the point where it's like that you don't want to be the tyranny of the urgent. It's so easy to get caught up. Oh, let's go and run over there. We got to run over there and do that. Well, I was in construction right out of Georgia Tech and building houses on the north side of Atlanta. And all of these, I was the most inexperienced person out there, but I was a superintendent. And so when anything go wrong, they would come running across the subdivision looking for me. Hey, we're out of lumber. We're out of this, And sometimes I'd have to, I'd take a minute or two before I'd even roll the window down. If I was in my truck, it's like, I'd let them get it out of their system. And then I could hear what they were saying and I collect my thoughts before then I'd say, I rolled it down. And I said, did you think about this? And they go, oh, and then they go back. But if I wouldn't have had, if I hadn't let myself keep a little distance between them and think for a minute before I responded, before I know I'd be caught up in it, jumping out of the truck, running onto the house to see what was wrong. And so you can say no, you can control. And the other thing is you don't have to overcommit. It's easy to overcommit, even things you want to do. It's like pruning stuff. That's where the thing is. Concepts like this are incredibly valuable when you realize the good is the enemy of the best. Because there'll be things that you and I like to do, fun to do, but that might keep us from doing the best things that we just love to do. Mm-hmm. And so you learn how to, because we only have 24 hours in the day. And so you got the decisions you make about that, who, when, what, how, is going to result in your satisfaction. So let's give you a minute to talk about how you got into and how much you're doing with this this DJ and the music thing. Do you incorporate that in with your events? And okay.
Yeah, exactly. So we have like a whole menu board of different transformational experiences. And basically one of them is conscious DJ experiences where we have a full-on show from drummers, instrumentalists, singers. I mean, it's like a whole experience that you would have, going into a concert, but it's sober. We set intention before and after. We do different plugins. We change what people are drinking into cold pressed juices. And so we made it where people can actually come and socialize still within their framework, but they don't have to be judged that they're not drinking. And yeah. I quit drinking about 3 years ago, and it was the best decision of my life. It completely eliminated all toxins on inside and outside. That's kind of what drove me to also create this other way to socialize with people that you would love to, but we have to relearn how.
Yeah, and that's directly the social behavior, learning to assert yourself. So many people drink today because everybody drinks. They don't realize there's an ocean of people that never drank a drop of alcohol in their life. I'm 75. I'm one of them. You can get through your life without, and the idea is to what decisions can you make, life choices that is going to make your life easier. It's never going to be easy, but it can be easier, because you can eliminate the big stack of problems that you could, with bad choices, create for yourself by getting into alcohol, getting into the smoking, and all of the other paraphernalia there. I mean, it's not doing you any good. You're going to have to overcome it. At some point, you're going to have to detox. You're going to have, it's going to have an effect on you. Why not it's easier to be healthy. It's easier to drink the fruit juices and the vegetable juices and the healthy water rather than stuff that's just going to do you harm. And so there's choices you can make for yourself that not only will allow you to be more productive, but be more clear thinking and make better choices for yourself. So all of this has to, it's a thing of everything in life being connected. And I think that's what you're learning and that you're passing on to people. It's really fascinating to hear your story and how once you get an idea and you get going on something, you just take it everywhere. All of a sudden you're doing this thing. Now you have 150 events this year. It's just like, thank goodness you're young. You're 32. You've got the energy. This is exactly what you should be doing. And I wish you nothing but the best. In fact, hopefully we were able to shed some light for people who would looking at what you're doing and try and understand the validity of it and how it would be useful to them. Hopefully we've cleared that up. And so I congratulate you on all of these things and look forward. What do you want to do in the future?
So the next thing that I'm working on right now is I'm creating a Peloton or Orange Theory, but for your brain. So basically, we're building a real live streaming as well as in events. We're going to have a headband that can measure your EEG. It can measure your HRV, your heart rate variability. And basically now we're not just going to say what meditation and breath work and this does. We will actually prove it to you and show it to you with a neurofeedback. So you can actually train your brain to make better decisions, train your brain to sleep better. And so EEG's been around, for a very long time, but it has never been done in a group, and it has never been done when you can be moving and it's still accurate. And so that's our next big thing in the next 6 months that we're launching on the market. And the mission with that is I want to unify 1 million brains meditating at the same time, cohesively together. And imagine, I always say, Tuesday night prayers, for somebody that you love that needs it the most, or a manifestation, or just the energy that has been proven by science, what it does in collective. It's everything. And so that's what I'm really excited about.
Well, and it, for those who haven't been exposed to that, this is out there. This is not like going to colonize Mars in terms of an idea. This is ideas that are already out there. It's taking it another step. But I had to do some brain mapping and everything because of my cycling accident. And they thought, you have a traumatic brain injury and we can heal that. And they did. Of course, it took like 300 treatments, but eventually they said they got it right. So in that process, I got exposed to a lot of these treatments where you get on, they put the electrodes. Right now it's at a cumbersome stage, not as defined as what you're talking about with a headband, but they put these electrodes on and they put you through routines, and you can just see by things you think about, or they put on the screen, your brain calms, your brain goes up, or it's, you can train yourself for stability and things like that. So this is all going on, and it's going to be fun to see what you do with it, because I know you're going to do something big. So anyway,
thank you.
It's a pleasure. Call me anytime I can be help. And I'm going to look you up next time on the Big Island in Hawaii.
Please do.
All right. Thank you very much, Pavel. See you.
Thank you all.
Let's do this. One more thing. I forgot to do this. I like to close always by having my guest have the final word. and say, if there was one final thing that you could say to people who have stayed with us and listened all this way, what would you say to them?
Balance and harmony is possible. And I never used to think it is. And I used to think that I always have to learn through the gutter, through the painful experiences. But now I learn through love and I learn through joy. And once you clean up all of this stuff in your life that is not serving you, at the end of it is love. At the end of it is peace. And so I wish nothing but that for you.
Thank you very much, Pavel. This has been great. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Million Dollar Mastermind. If you felt there were any valuable takeaways from this episode, please take a minute and leave us a 5-star review. Your feedback is important and really helps us get the word out to a wider audience. Remember, we have a valuable webinar that is absolutely free. Register for it right now at weidelonwinning.com. Thanks for listening.